This is Ian Bailey with Ian on Torah. We are continuing our series of speaking about the Sefirot, explaining what the Sefirot are, the names and the meaning, and connecting them to Sefirat HaOmer, as many have done over the ages. This week is Tiferet week, so we will be discussing the concept of Tiferet. So many people think that Tiferet is a balance of Chesed and Gevurah. It's a balance of kindness and being strict. It's a balance of restraint and expression. However, if this were true, then why would it be its own midah? It has its own unique idea. It is not simply a balance of the two. And in Kabbalah, it's called a mizug, a blending. It's a full synthesis of the other two midos of Chesed and Gevurah. It's a mizug of Chesed and Gevurah. So let's go back to the underlying concept of the midot. So we said that Chesed is a klal, Gevurah is a prat. Chesed is a general, all-inclusive, a mishmash of things, and Gevurah is disparate things. It is details, prat. Well, Tiferet is known as klal sheba prat, a general thing within a specific detail, encapsulated within it. So where do you find this? How do you find something huge and something small? Is it like an elephant stuffed into a keyhole? What? So the best way to understand it is through metaphor and symbolism. Let's take a piece. Let's take a piece of art. If you have a landscape picture, what is that? So you show it to somebody, they'll say it's a picture. Well, it's really not. They'll say that it is mountains. It is a landscape. It is a picture of landscape. Okay, well, it's a picture, but it's just a bunch of brushstrokes on a paper. It's not really the sunset itself. It represents it. It's symbolic of it. The famous case, this is what our rabbis taught in my yeshiva, a snow globe. A little snow globe encapsulates a certain place, but it's just a little bit of plastic and water in your hand. It's a klal sheba prat. Something bigger encapsulated in something smaller. New York City is encapsulated conceptually within the snow globe. That is the metaphor and symbolism come from Tiferet. That's what this concept represents. It draws from. Okay, let's expand it to other areas. Let's say you go into a building that's built like a Roman structure, Roman columns and arches. You feel like you're in Rome. You're transported there. That is symbolic of it. You're inside of it. It's as if you're there. You're not really there. If you dress in a costume, are you that person? No, you represent that person. That is Tiferet. And people who have Tiferet in their personality, they don't dwell on details. When they do, they actually become more depressed. They take concepts and put them into nitty-gritty places like music. No, the song doesn't usually say its core idea. Rather, it uses different phrases and a sound and a beat to get the idea across to you in a more symbolic way. Just like the painting captures something without actually saying it. It can be visual, it can be auditory. Think about the music from Jaws. Everybody knows that. Dun, 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 dun. Or the Darth Vader, the Imperial March. Dun, 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 dun. Everyone knows that, even religious people. That is symbolic of things. The Jaws music is symbolic of anxiety. And the Imperial March is symbolic of like malchus, like kingship, for good or bad. For bad in that case. That's another example of auditory, musical Tiferet. So within the desert, when the Jewish people were traveling, God gave them chesed, He supported them. God gave them gevurah, He refined them. So God gave them Tiferet also. He gave them things that were symbolic. The huts that they lived in, it's a hut, but it's symbolic of God's protection, divine providence. We sit in the hut, and according to the reason why that's given, it's symbolic of the fact that we were in huts before, or it's symbolic of God's divine protection of us. So God gave us metaphor and symbolism within our journey to the desert, and think about religious ritual. We're given mitzvot, commandments, but these commandments are actually a fusing of chesed and gevurah, if you think about it. Each commandment is required. It's gevurah. It's required. It's a mitzvah. It's a mandate. You have to restrain yourself to do it. But it's also chesed. There's also something bigger within it. Something bigger within it. It's a blending. many religions believe in, forget the strict law, you feel something, you meditate over it. Some religions are strict, you must keep the law and bow down to the God. Judaism has a balance of both. Well, we shouldn't use that word. It's a blending of both. Within each ritual, there's deep symbolism we can garner from it, we can generate. And at the same time, we still have to do the action. You cannot take away the action. So when people say, you're praying with no feeling, well, work on the feeling part of it. Work on the deeper, part of it. Maybe we'll get to know some other, components of Tiferet, but I want to keep this video short. Some other components about the desert and about Judaism. Okay, how do we apply this to our lives? So one of the major areas that is impactful within a family is ritual. So, our religion, Judaism, has ritual. Other religions, or the Noahides, infusing ritual into your day can be powerful. You have the religious ritual. John Gottman, the famous family couples therapist, he speaks over and over about this case where every night at the same time a man would bring his wife a cup of coffee to drink. That was very meaningful to her. Other situation, a woman to make her husband's bed. Things are symbolic to us far more than we realize. They represent something psychological. I work with children in a school, and it's incredible how art class should be so enjoyable, but it's not. Art is like projecting your inner unconscious mind, and all these issues come out of being perfectionism. The picture has to be perfect. It's stressful. I want to start over. And that's why Tiferet and Hod, to get more advanced here, is really art therapy. Creativity has a lot of emotion behind it. It evokes emotion. Just like that building evokes emotion. But doing art therapy, doing art, trying to play music, all those things really touch upon something deeper and emotional behind us. So the practical lesson is try to keep those rituals in your family that are important to you. What does your partner or spouse want as a ritual? What's important to your family? And keep that. Children want that steadiness, reliability. I know women want it. It's good for the whole family. Have some kind of reliable rituals that are meaningful to you. Eating certain foods, going certain places. Especially men, we tend to be very practical. Usually, what's this? What does it do for us? Come on, let's just spend time and go to sleep. Try to think beyond that. This is Ian Bailey with Ian on Torah, Tiferet Week.